experience that the robots are just naturally evolving, or do we have experience that people create robots? So I'm talking only from this experience.
Okay, all the robots which are known to human beings now are made by people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's sure.
Yes. So they must be people calling themselves I, and that I is apparently existent enough to create a robot. So we cannot say that I does not exist, because it does. You're sitting on the chair that some I created. You're wearing the clothes that some I has created.
Actually, perhaps you are aware, I don't know, that in Buddhism they don't accept that there is a self.
I don't care what they accept or
Yeah,
not.
okay.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter in Buddhism,
Yeah, okay.
in
Yeah,
any
it doesn't
religion.
matter.
Yes.
To me also it does not matter. I just wanted to say that this is something which has to be, which for instance for me for sure, that I have to leave this question open unless I understand. But certainly this thing that because there is an experience going on, that doesn't prove that there is an entity like I, a unified consciousness. It doesn't mean that.
No, it doesn't mean that. But there's observed experience that there's a lot of I's who made this world to be as it is. In Buddhism, there's a lot of experience to show that there's a lot of I, who people call themselves I, and they made all of this world the way it is. In Buddhism, when they say there is no self, if the person says to me, there's no self, and I kick him in the ass, and he says, oh, my no self ass doesn't hurt, it's okay. But I bet you, if I kick him in the ass, the person will say, oh, there's no self, no. He will say, oh, my ass hurts.
Okay. So
there is a self which will hurt.
This is actually not a big problem. This is the same thing that when I was saying that I'm almost sure that the cup, as I'm this thing what I call a cup in this form and all this, it doesn't exist objectively. And so it doesn't mean that if somebody takes this cup and hits me on the head with it, that I will not try to avoid it, or I will not feel pain if it hurts. But that doesn't mean that it has an objective existence.
Yeah, of course, the cup doesn't mean anything before it hits on your hand. Only then the meaning appears. Otherwise, the cup is meaningless.
No, it's not like that.
Well, why not? Because the cup gets a meaning only when you fill the water and you start using it as a cup. Before you came into the room, this cup had no meaning. Once you start using it starts having meaning, because there is an I to give the meaning.
Here I will separate it. I'm not talking about meaning. I'm talking about the existence of this cup. So when I did not come to this room, even then, if the things are existing now here in this room, like for instance this chair and this thing, that also were existing before I came. It's not that I. So so meaning is something different from the existence of a thing. The meaning of a thing and the existence of a thing, they are not the same. This, to me at least, is clear, this part.
Oh, of course, it cannot be the same thing, because the meaning and existence would be
the same thing has different meanings to different people.
Exactly.
And even to the same person. A glass of water or a cup of water, to me, it doesn't mean very much. But if I'm in a desert and I'm thirsty and there is no source of other water, then a cup of water means a very important thing to me. So it has nothing to do with whether the cup exists or not. The cup exists whether it has meaning to anybody or not.
So now, in the same example, does it has any meaning? Do you exist or not? Does the I exist? Does the self exist or not? Does it have any meaning?
To whom?
Oh, exactly.
Meaning,
if to ask the question to you,
somebody.
Yeah, so to you, what's the meaning to you? Does it mean anything for you in order to be interested, to find out, is there a self, what is I, what is, can I can I prove that there is I? Does
yes,
it mean anything?
It has very important meaning to me. This question is extremely important.
Why? Why is it so important?
Because on this depends my understanding of what the reality is.
And before that, you didn't know that, and your reality was as it was. Before even having this interest, and before this being so meaningful, when it wasn't, your life still was as it was. Right now, you have an interest to find this out, and you say it depends the whole life. Before it didn't. Right now, just because the meaning is there to find out, now the life depends on this. Can you see the difference? That before you had this question, you didn't care about how your life was.
When?
Well, I don't know when. I cannot tell when you have this question to come to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This question was not in my mind before.
So before that.
Several
So before that, you didn't care if your life did not depend on this question. But
yes,
right now,
that's true.
Right now we say my life depends the way I perceive on this question.
Yes.
So you attach a meaning to a question, and I'm saying this moment, if you give some space to observe, if you can observe this attachment to this question, that there is a meaning and life will change if I answer this question. If this attachment is being observed this moment, could it be that itself is what takes away the meaning? That itself looking into that and not just being now.
I have not understood it. What are you saying?
Sorry. Could it be that your interest and dependence on this question, you say my life depends on this question right now, right?
No, I didn't say that. I said that this question is very important to me.
And I asked why. Why is it? Because you said your life perception.
I said that because my whole worldview
yes.
Involves this question.
Yes. And before, as you said, it didn't, because you didn't have this question in your mind.
Yes.
But right now it does. So what if, only what if, you can assume, if you don't have this question, no problem. If you can let go,
I don't have any problem.
Yeah, so if you can let go of this question, no need to know anything of that, and your whole worldview will change just because you don't want to know that question.
That I can understand. That's true. Seems true. That seems true to me. Yes.
Because you want to know this question.
Yes.
You cannot have that shift of the whole perception, the whole world. But as soon as you let go and I don't really need it's okay. Everything changes because now you're not attached, you're not dependent on that question. If you create a dependency on anything,
I wouldn't call it dependency. It is very interesting to me because see, like if I want to go out, then it is important to me to find whether this is the door or this is the door. So just because of that, like this is something like when you want to sit down, you want to know whether the sofa is actually here or there. Only then you can sit down. So you try
didn't
to
you say
find
that
out
this is the most important thing to you?
Pardon?
Didn't you say that this is the most important thing to you?
Oh, I forget what I said. I didn't. I don't think it is the most important. I said that this question is very important to me.
Okay, so what would be the most important?
I do not know. I do not know what is the most important question for me. There are several important questions.
So, of course, maybe you have the most important question.
No, I just have a question in relation to what we were talking about. So just, if you guys are in the middle of that, then you can finish.
No, I'm just looking for a question. So which is?
So I'm trying to practice like this, just observation. And so my question is, if there's the entity that is observing, then there's the illusionary meaning that is physical, active, touching, doing things, and so on and so forth. And I activate my mind and I make a decision using my mind to eat, sleep, walk, whatever. Where is that coming from? Is there like a correlation between the observer and this entity, this being that is active in this physical capacity?
As much as it's all one, that's the relation. It's all one. Perceived and perceivers, all one at the same time. That's why in any experience, what is, everybody will say accept what is. Because you are one with the experience, you cannot get away from the experience. It is accepted. So anything that happens.
So then when we talk about this concept that one is able to manifest their desires, how does that fit into this? Like I feel, or my understanding, my perception is that as we become more connected with ourselves, and to me, being connected would mean understanding and actively engaging in this concept of observation, actively understanding that whatever thoughts and so on are coming in, that's okay, allow them to just be, because that is what it is, and they are existing, and I can simply just observe them. And so therefore I don't get caught up into believing those ideas. So then I've created a bit of a distance there. And so where then does this whole notion of manifesting?
Well, you just created some space. Here you go. You have some space for manifestation. Before, your desires and manifestation was only the fears and projections out of whatever you had in your mind. Right now, you're in the place that observation has been done. You know your true state. There's space for manifestation. You can encourage good thoughts, good energy, good action, which will bring you to the result. It only can do that because there's so much space and nothing is there to prevent you.
Okay, but when you say you can,
the illusion of course, yeah. That will play all this life. Those who want to have no self will, for the rest of their life, struggle themselves to the death, because there is no such thing as no self. There is a self, illusion of the self. The experience of I, the observation, is not an entity. It's non-self. It's just beingness. It's seeing, just emptiness. I don't know whatever you want to say, but there's still this illusory
that's why
self.
there's both.
Yeah, of course there's both. That's why it's so fun, because you still, the whole life, you'll never know what this body gonna do. You never know what it's gonna say. You never know what's gonna happen.
But wait a minute, when you say that you never know what it's going to do, that's not true then, because, or at least my understanding, because if you're saying that through this space you can encourage certain types of thoughts, the you that is encouraging the thoughts is the illusionary you, correct? So therefore, if I have control over the types of thoughts that I encourage into my mind, then am I then not responsible for all the things that come out of my mouth? Or is it like,
you are,
until
but
your mind identified, then you believe that you are, but then once you disengage from that mind identified, then it's more active?
You are responsible as much as you want to be. Being is not responsible for anything. It's only seeing. It's not its own responsibility that this body says something or does something. The illusory part is responsible for whatever is being manifested. Being has no responsibility. Just, how can you add the responsibility to being? Okay, you have to be more. Be more attentive next time.
But then isn't that then this notion of duality then? That there's the being and that there is the illusion.
But that duality feels like one and the same thing to me. Because it's just that. It's not separated from each other. It's a dual expression of oneness.
Dual expression of oneness.
Let's leave on that and have a break.
That was